Hey everybody, it's Dan with Pain For You. Today's topic, are you trying too hard? And a bunch of F words, the letter F as in Frank. So what do I mean by this? Sometimes I think we can put too much pressure on ourselves to heal, to get better. I gotta get rid of this pain. This is killing me. I can't stand it. Oh my God, right? I've talked about this in different ways before. The oh my God versus whatever. And I've already had a good number of people say, you know what? Taking the whatever stance has really helped me out. My pain is diminished. I'm doing things that I haven't done in years. So it works, right? Is it challenging? Absolutely. Is it hard? Yes. Is it impossible? No, heck no. And when you realize, and I'm going to explain a little bit of the process that I learned from Dr. Schubner in the interview he just did with Eddie Lindenstein on the Mind and Fitness podcast. I posted this on my page, Pain For You, and in the private group, Pain For You. Go watch or go listen to that podcast interview with Dr. Schubner. I'll talk about a couple of highlights here. But when I talk about a bunch of F words that are keeping us stuck, keeping us in pain, keeping the pain persistent, I'm talking about frustration, fear, focus on the pain and the symptoms, fighting. I'm fighting this pain. I'm not going to give up. I got to fight, and trying to fix your pain, right? And so all of these F words can really keep us stuck and keep our symptoms sticking around. So what Schubner talked about, and fortunately I felt very humbled that I have a lot of the same theories. Care less about your pain. Don't give a crap, right? Whatever. I've been talking about this for weeks, so it's not like I just learned it last night and I'm trying to take credit for it here, but it's true. The more attention you give to your pain and your other symptoms, the more power they have over you, and the more likely they're going to be to stick around. So here's an excerpt from Dr. Schubner's interview, and I think it's worth sharing, but it's definitely worth going and watching. He says, if you truly don't care about the pain, it will turn off eventually. And I find that's true. And I find that's even true in my little few-day experiment I've got going on here with my own pain. And so that's really critical. Pain persists in the moment because the danger signal is on. Well, trying too hard every single day, all day long, to fix your pain, you're frustrated with it, you're fighting it, you fear it, you've got focus on it all day long. You know, the danger signal is staying on. You're basically running around sounding the alarms that I'm in danger, pain. And it doesn't help. And I'm proving that to myself again, because every time I find myself focused on the pain and, hey, how's it going? And am I managing it and monitoring it? Or am I truly getting lost in what I've got to do? When I get lost and forget about it, invariably I feel better. Had a conversation with a lovely lady in the UK today, and I'm trying to help her out. And invariably, after talking to her for an hour, I felt better personally. Why? Because I wasn't thinking about my back. I was deep into trying to help her out. So Dr. Schubner kind of outlined a number of steps that he generally takes his patients through. Number one is to rule out the physical or the pathological. I like to say rule out the life-threatening. Most other things are incidental on the imaging studies. Then he says rule in the mind-body component, these neural pathways, these neural circuits he calls them. So rule in the mind-body. And how do you do that? So number one, personality types. There's an assessment at painforyou.com. Just download that. So there's personality types there talked about. Pain characteristics are key, because if you can do a mind-body process and the pain goes up or down, that's evidence. If you are on vacation and you hurt less, that's evidence. If you can, what was the example I had in my mind earlier? If you feel better for 2 hours when you get lost attention-wise in something else, when you start focusing on something else intently, family, a gathering, a movie, a comedy, or whatever, and you don't notice the pain, that's evidence. Basically, the investigation as to whether or not this is a mind-body process at work is done. You've got the proof you need. When you're distracted away from the pain and you're focused on something enjoyable or more pleasurable and less stressful, and the pain goes down, it's mind-body. It's proof. If you're on vacation and the pain is less, there's proof. That's evidence. Case closed. It's mind-body, right? And if even just doing any emotional work causes the pain to go up or down, boom, case closed. More evidence. So these things really matter. So Schubner taught in this interview, again, Mind and Body, or Mind and Fitness podcast, Eddie Lindenstein. It's the Dr. Schubner episode, aired yesterday, or 2 days ago by the time this video publishes. But rule out the physical and pathological. Second of all, rule in the mind-body. Third, educate, learn. Read Schubner's book, read Sarno's books, read Nicole Sachs' book, read Steve Ozanich's books. You know, at some point I'll have my book out, hopefully in the next couple months. But educate, really learn how this stuff works. And when you truly understand how it works, and you recognize, and you truly believe that, okay, this makes 100% sense, I've got the personality traits, I've got the pain characteristics of it going up or down or moving or whatever, which is evidence enough to close that case on the investigation of whether or not it's mind-body, then really, what is there to fear? Truly, you're not broken. So decreasing fear was the third step in Schubner's process, and I talk about this all the time. Don't care about your pain. Don't give a crap. Whatever, right? Having indifference, because when you stop giving a crap, the brain says this is no longer important, and those neural pathways can start to disconnect. Fourth on the list, and this is not first, you know, so much of this TMS world is everybody's like, feel, 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 and even me, feel, 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 do your, you know, do your process, do your journaling, do your whatever it may be, the zero pain now, feel, just feel your emotions, that's all you got to do. Well, if you're feeling your emotions, but you're not turning off the danger signal, and you are not getting to the point where you can literally say, I'm going to have a good day, whether I hurt or not, I really don't care. I'm done caring about my body, when in fact it's a psychologically created problem. And so you got to really say, all right, emotional work. Yes, there is a time and a place for that. But if you don't believe you've got TMS, doing the emotional work is just going to be an exercise in frustration. If you don't understand the concept, you know, somebody saying feel your emotions is going to confuse the heck out of you. Why do I want to do that? What's the purpose of that? You got to understand that out. If you haven't done the analysis to see whether or not your pain characteristics, them moving, them changing, new symptoms, old symptoms, just jumping around, connect the dots between your pain starting and your emotional world. You know, if you haven't done that, feeling your emotions is going to be kind of an exercise in futility or frustration. And if you haven't been to see a doctor to rule out something pathological or truly life-threatening, disease, cancers, major infections, right? Fractures. And I know there's some people here who have some osteoporosis and some fractures that are showing up in these x-rays, and the doctors are going, look, there it is, there it is. But again, for you folks, most people over a certain age, and Dr. Schubner talks about some of these statistics, it's amazing. Listen to that podcast, go check it out. But he talks about the number of statistics where people with zero pain at all have all sorts of degenerative disc disease, osteoporosis, bulging and herniated discs, all sorts of things that they don't have pain. So just because a doctor says, well, here's your problem, you've got some fractures in your spine, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what's causing it. I don't believe it is. Why? Because you've done the investigation, you've had days where you felt much better when you were in a much less fearful mood, so the evidence is there. Believe the evidence, which is your body, turning on and off these pain signals based on the amount of fear that you've got relative to the pain. So doing the emotional work, there is a place for that, but make sure you rule out the physical, rule in the mind-body, educate yourself deeply, and that will allow you to lose the fear, stop caring, be indifferent to it, whatever. Then there's a place for the emotional work. And then lastly on his list was, really evaluate your life circumstances. Is there something that really, for your benefit, should be changed? In some cases it's a job, in some cases it's a spouse. Hate to say it. If there is somebody who is constantly antagonizing you and impossible to get away from. Look, I say a lot, we can't change our stressors, but we can change how we react to them. There may be some cases with abuse, verbal or physical, that these antagonizers need to be cut out of your life. That's not your first go-to. Most of us don't have to change our life dramatically that way to get better. But if you're truly in a situation that is dangerous emotionally, physically, sexually, whatever, maybe time to really take a hard look at life changes, job-wise or whatever. So this is kind of a little bit of an outline from what Schubner talked about. I think it's brilliant. As long as the danger signals are screaming, the pain will persist. So wouldn't that make it, if you've already done the analysis and you believe you've got TMS, if you've already done the education, you've read 16 books or 6 books or even 2 books, and you understand the concept, reading another 4 books is not the answer. Moving on to step 3, which I think is the biggest challenge I see. I'm now able to witness and engage with over 700 people between my Facebook page and the Facebook group, and all sorts of comments, and I'm getting comments on YouTube. The biggest, I'll say, roadblock that I'm seeing is this number 3, which is being able to decrease your fear and your significance, which I talked about in the How Significant Is Your Pain video. That's the biggest roadblock, because despite what everybody knows, despite people saying I believe in the TMS, I'm doing the emotional work, and I'm at my wit's end. I've done the emotional work for weeks, months, years, and I'm not getting anywhere. Well, maybe you're not getting anywhere because you're still constantly sounding those danger alarms, which are basically keeping the pain persistent and keeping it with you. So if you're stuck with those F words, frustration, fear, focus on the pain or symptoms, you're fighting it, and you're trying to fix it all day long, that may be your biggest hang-up. You may be doing everything right, and you probably are. I talked to somebody today, and she was saying, I've excavated my emotional world. I'm consciously aware of all the things that probably led me to my symptoms. And so, how I coached her today was really your biggest focus needs to be on turning down the volume on your stress. Stop sounding these danger alarms. Accept where you are. Accept where I am. Right now I've still got a little niggling back pain. So what? Whatever. I'm not freaked out about it. I'm not screaming that I gotta fix it, right? That's not going to help. That's just sounding the danger alarms, and that's going to guarantee that it sticks around. So stop sounding the danger alarms. If you're finding yourself lost in these F words so much that you're walking around using the F word, fuck, excuse the language, but you get the point. If you're stuck saying that, it's probably because you're frustrated, you're fearful, you're focusing on it, you're trying to fix it, and those F words are going to lead to the big F word. Fuck. So that may be the missing piece here. The missing piece, P-E-A-C-E. Thank you, Susie, for that. It's really important because you could be doing all of the emotional work right. You could have done the analysis perfectly and know for sure you've got TMS. You've done the education. You've read every book you can find, just like I did. And if you saw my video earlier of my little pile of TMS books, you know that I've done that education too. But the missing piece, P-E-A-C-E, is often the peace of mind in knowing that you're already well. Stop screaming or stop sounding those danger alarms, and you may find that that's what it takes to get over this last hurdle and start to get better. So I hope this helps. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Dr. Schubner, for the brilliant conversation you guys had on the podcast a couple of days ago. Really helped me solidify some of my thoughts and gave me some food for or ammunition for this video here. So inspiration, I'll say, not ammunition. Ammunition's violent. Inspiration for this video today. So I hope this helps you. And lastly, are you trying too hard? In some cases we are. And if you've truly emptied out the well of all your emotions and you've toiled over that for, you know, months, years, decades, and you're still not getting anywhere, take a look at this, whether or not you're sounding the danger alarm. Soothe your nervous system. Dr. Sarno talked about the soothe to rage ratio. And my guess is many of us are spending our time in the rage end of the spectrum because we keep on sounding the danger and we're outraged by the pain and the symptoms. And how could this happen to me? And this shouldn't be my life. This is not what I signed up for. So soothe, soothe, soothe. Turn off the danger alarms. How do we do that? It's in between your two ears, right? The alarms are not coming from outside. They're coming from within. So take a look at this stuff. Let me know your thoughts. Comment below. Let me know if you've watched that Schubner, Eddie Lindenstein interview or listened to it and what you think of it. Because I've just encapsulated a couple of the main points here, but the danger alarm is really the key point that I'm driving home here. You got to turn that off. And guess what? You got to stop flipping it. You're the one turning it on. So you got to stop turning it on and turn off the ones that are already sounding. And maybe, you know, if you're at your wit's end with the emotional work, take a break from the emotional work. Take a break from trying to fix yourself. Take a break from healing yourself. Literally, take a break indefinitely and just say, my job is going to make sure I know that I'm okay already. I'm going to turn off the alarms. I'm going to care less about the symptoms. And I'm going to look to see how much fun I can have today and every day. And what you will find is that that does so much to turn down the volume of the pain or the symptoms that you won't believe it. So that could be the missing piece of mind. So try it. Let me know what you think. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks.